And welcome back, everyone, to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from Lethal Injection 1997. We'll discuss the daunting task, the daunting question of whether or not Wolverine and X-23 would win in the fight against Haku or Zabuza. Or, flip that, Zabuza and Haku will fight against Wolverine X-23. This is really actually more level about abilities versus just overall endurance. Obviously, Wolverine and X-23 are two mutants. She's obviously a clone of him, Laura. And they have a high level healing factor. Like, that's the thing that Wolverine is known for more so than even his claws. By the way, I just want to point out that the angle in this picture of Wolverine, I looked at it. I didn't actually really look at this as in-depth as I could. Either the art's off of that, or my word, that suit's not leaving much to the imagination there, is it? But anyway, I literally just looked at the picture. I'm like, wait, what? But anyway, so yeah, that's the thing Wolverine is known for, like his healing factor, even more so than his claws, is his healing factor. And Wolverine's healing factor with just adamantium in there, which weakens his healing factor, is not very, very hard to put down. Like, he'll heal from minor scrapes and scratches instantly. Bullet wounds take maybe a couple seconds to a few minutes, depending on severity. He's been blown up by nitro before, with his skeleton remaining, and because his brain survived, he regenerated. Laura has arguably better regeneration, but not, because the DNA for Laura was slightly damaged, which was why they didn't get a male clone. They got a female clone of Wolverine. Now, we don't know if this hindered her healing factor to any real degree. We know for a fact, though, that she actually doesn't have an adamantium skeleton. She has adamantium claws in both her feet and her hands, but she actually didn't go through the full-on Weapon Plus process, because she went, rogue and had her own identity after that. So she isn't actually as durable in that sense as Wolverine. If she went up against Nitro, she actually would be killed. But she's still dangerous as hell. Both these guys are expert hand-to-hand combatants. Obviously, Wolverine's skeleton is coated in adamantium, which is nigh indestructible, and by this world standards, Naruto world standards, would be indestructible. Again, I can't think of anything in the Naruto world, save for maybe, and this is a hard maybe, Truth Seeker orbs. Apart from maybe Truth Seeker orbs, there would be nothing in Naruto world that we've seen that would theoretically be able to break adamantium. There's plenty of things that can affect it. There's magnet release, which that alone could turn Wolverine into a magnet. But because of that, Wolverine is highly dangerous with his claws, which are also made of adamantium. They are nigh indestructible, never need to be sharpened, can cut through nearly anything. Provided sufficient enough force. Despite his berserker-like mentality, he is a skilled strategist when he needs to be. And if he needs to, he can also just go into straight berserker mode and go full-on feral and go ham on individuals. Laura is also similar. She, though, at least has the advantage of being smaller and having a lighter frame, which allows her to be more agile in combat. This allows her to do more flips and twists than Wolverine can. So this gives her a different type of fighting style to him. She also is a little bit more... She usually is able to kind of keep a bit more of a level head. Usually, like when they're going berserker, from what I've seen, she is a bit more... I guess the best way to put... He's got more experience there just because of his age. She, though, is... What's the best way for me to put it? She is a little bit more cold, I think, than Wolverine is. Which is why she's able to kind of keep a level head a little bit better than he can in certain circumstances. Otherwise, these two together are kind of like a horrifying duo. Even higher level mutants or metahumans would not want to tangle with these guys. I mean, Wolverine can go fight the Hulk head on. He almost never wins, but he can fight the Hulk. So there is that. Haku and Zabuza, as obviously Zabuza is a former ninja of the Hidden Mist, former member of the Seven Swordsmen. He took the Executioner's Blade with him, which is a blade that can actually restore itself by absorbing the iron in an individual's blood, or just iron in general, usually from blood, though. So if it's broken, it can actually restore itself. Zabuza also is a skilled water release user, things such as water clones, the hidden mist jutsu, um, what was it, not water torrent, water vortex, water dragon, a lot of water jutsu he has on him. He's also insanely strong because he can one-arm that executioner blade if he needs to. Not skillfully, mind you. There's a lot of hard, there's a lot of effort put into one-handing it, but he can still do it. But he still wields it expertly. He's a skilled tactician, having lived through at least one war, and has been a skilled assassination specialist for years. Haku is a random boy he found on the streets who happens to have a ice Keka Genkai, so allows him to literally create ice on a whim. We actually don't see a lot of ice creations from him. The only thing we really ever see is the Crystal Ice Mirror, but we do know he probably does have other ice-based jutsu, as he did kill his dad with a giant ice crystal. So, that being said, Haku is exceptionally fast, and when using the Crystal Ice Mirror, can move at light speeds. Apparently that is relatively canon. Though the Senbon coming out of the mirror aren't moving at light speeds, still, the mirrors are very hard to destroy, but hardly indestructible. And Haku also should have water and wind release as well, given that's the two elements that make ice release. There's less to go over with these guys than there is Laura and Logan. It should note, I don't believe Logan these days has the ability to superheat his claws. I also don't really think it would matter a great deal in this scenario. But, yeah, I don't believe he has that ability anymore, but you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. So this is actually this is a question of, can Zabuza and Haku even put down Logan and Laura? This fight would obviously be these pairs squaring off against each other. Laura would probably go after Haku. Logan would probably go after Zabuza. Now, clashing the Executioner Blade with his claws is not an inherent cutting through the Executioner Blade. While, yes, Adamantium would be able to cut through that without much difficulty, Logan still has to apply a certain amount of force to make that cut happen. Now, mind you, it wouldn't take much for him to do that, because Zabuza brings down the attack, just clangs, and Logan just roars, and he's like, what the hell is this guy skeleton made of metal? And just slices through that. So Zabuza's immediately just like, what the hell? Even the little blood he gets, he also sees Wolverine start healing up, like, what the hell? He's like, all right, bub, let's try that again. It just comes at him. And now this is where Zabuza will be playing a lot of keep away after that, like hitting this jutsu. Logan can track him by scent, so that's not a problem. He then just starts hitting him with water release. Now, one of the things you could do to put these guys down in water prison is drown these guys. You can drown Wolverine and Laura. So Wolverine might end up getting caught in there, but Wolverine's not an idiot. And again, why no one ever thinks to do this, I'm not 100% sure. It's possible that the water encases your hand in the water prison to make that very difficult to get through. But why doesn't anyone with a sharp object in their pocket stab someone in the hand? It's like, you seem to be able to still move, kind of, more or less. So, I mean, there's nothing that says you can't move in the water. You know, I'm looking up the water prison right now, because unless there's some condition where the water is so heavy you can't move, water prison jutsu. Okay, water prison. It's also debatable whether or not you can actually breathe in it or not. Let's see here. But we see Kakashi kind of move around. Okay, the water is a sphere made from a noticeably heavy. The water is noticeably heavy, which restricts the target's movements. Okay, that's fair. It makes breathing difficult. As such, those trapped in the water cannot ordinarily escape on Earth. Okay, fair enough. It makes movement difficult. It doesn't mean that they're paralyzed, which means Wolverine just has to stab him right in the hands. Like, Wah! Also, in theory, she could just cut herself out of the water if he really needs to. I don't see the water prison being a way to just put Wolverine out of commission, although he might be coughing up water after that. Like, he might be suffocating temporarily drowning. Now, as for Laura and Haku is an interesting case in this fight, because Haku has knowledge of pressure points. As we saw with that Spock versus Wolverine fight, which is, by the way, I'm sorry, whoever wrote that fight, clearly, look, if you think one way or the other, I'm not going to really don't judge completely. That apparently, I mean, whether or not it's canon or not, you can argue whether or not the whole story's canon. But point being, he did beat Logan that way. I think that's a lot of bullshit, but whatever. Point being is that despite Logan being near indestructible, he's not immune to things like pressure points, for example. Oh, son of a! I hate when that happens. Like a video started playing again in the background. Anywho, and I'm just gonna mute that thing so it doesn't do that again. Even if it does do that again, it's not gonna bother me. So yeah, his pressure points are still very much exposed. Laura would be even worse because she doesn't even have the advantage of adamantium in there. But Laura's also more agile than Logan. And things like needles eventually will force their way out of your body. Like shrapnel or foreign bodies will eventually force their way out of your body. So Haku would probably try to one-up Laura, but seeing as Wolverine and Laura can tag speedsters, low-level speedsters, mind you, but they can actually react to them, Haku's speed isn't going to mean anything until the crystal ice mirrors come out. So Haku's going to try to put down Laura, and if Haku succeeds in hitting the right pressure points, he would actually succeed in that. Mind you, he wouldn't succeed in killing Laura. That's something Haku, unless he like straight out takes her head off, which he doesn't have, unless he makes a sword of ice, does not have the ability to do. Haku would most likely just succeed in knocking Laura out. This is assuming, however, that he's able to hit Laura in the right place. And Laura's, honestly, unlike other scenarios, Laura has no issue pulling these things out or just letting her body force them out. And Haku would probably just be staring out and astounded. She comes in at the mirrors. It's like, you're not realizing how strong these blades are. Haku would probably be like, you're going to have to do a lot better to break the mirrors. And then she just slices through the mirrors. She sliced through the mirror like it was nothing. Then Haku would probably have to use, light speed moves and just put Laura back in there. Meanwhile, Logan would basically just get out of there, because even if he has trouble moving, he can still probably get his arm in the right position to stab Zabuza's arm, and then maybe just twist Zabuza's, and then finally Wolverine just comes in here. It's like Haku with down a hand can't make hand signs. He can't do one-handed hand signs. So, at least as far as we know Haku could. I mean, maybe he picked that up from Zabuza, but as far as we know, he didn't. So just puts him down. By the way, I'm imagining this fight takes place on the bridge. So then Logan just, Laura, then just comes, and then Haku is just like, and Haku stops for a second. Zabuza. It's like, no, you. It's like, just smashes through the mirrors. It's like, and he just tries to put Wolverine down, who's now going straight on, like Laura, who's probably either knocked out or, God forbid, killed. Because, again, we don't know exactly every other technique Haku had under his belt. We can assume he had other ice moves. So maybe he's encased Laura in ice, and Logan trying to smell if she's dead. It's like, he just goes full on berserker, and Logan is just ignoring so much of the pain, and he's just raging. His muscles are not bursting, but bulging to the point where they're probably a lot thicker. So pressure points are not going to be as easy. If you ever hit pressure points, like if you know where pressure points are, if you can tighten up like your muscles, your body. You can't necessarily tighten your joints up, but you can tighten your body up to mitigate the effects on your pressure points. Logan would pretty much be in that state. Like his muscles would be full on flex. He would just be like, I'm going to kill you. Just starts bursting through every one of these mirrors repeatedly over and over again. And Laura probably would end up waking up after a while because he probably gets her out of the ice. And eventually she wakes up, probably catches Haku by surprise, and ultimately kicks him probably and probably kicks him right in the chest, and then gets him right there in the heart. So that puts down Haku as well. I think in the battle of attrition and abilities, Logan and Laura would win this fight out. It's not a guarantee, particularly with Haku's ability to target the pressure points, which would be a way to put these guys down. It would be difficult. This would not be an easy win for either of them because of all the other jutsus these guys have. And they're also skilled in their own right. But I think with the durability, stamina, regeneration factor, and X factor of Berserker Rage and Adamantium, which is basically indestructible in the Naruto world, I would give this to Logan and X-23. This is just my opinion, though. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.